This episode is brought to you by Muntins Malts, a company that is passionate about providing premium malts to brewers worldwide. For over a century, Muntins has been a leading supplier of brewing and distilling malts, offering the finest British malted barley on the market. You can experience the difference Muntins offers by joining a recipe receiving tier of our Trub Club, because every kit that ships out now includes premium Muntins malt. You know, we've known the Muntins crew for a long time, and I can tell you, friend, you're going to love brewing with their grains. Ask your local supply shop to carry Muntins malts, or homebrewers can join our Trub Club at homebrewhappyhour.com/club, be a part of the community, and come brew with us. Thank you, Muntins, for supporting our efforts and homebrewers worldwide. Today's show is brought to you by Hopsdirect.com. Grown in the esteemed Yakima Valley on the Pewterball family farm, Hopsdirect.com offers the widest variety of hops available online at incredibly competitive pricing. It's simple. They grow hops, they sell hops, and they ship hops straight from their family-owned farm to your doorstep. Producing the highest quality hops is Hopsdirect.com's passion, and they're proud to be an independent grower in the craft beer industry. Go to Hopsdirect.com right now and get what you need to make your brew day better. That's Hopsdirect.com. Today's show is brought to you by Imperial Yeast. You hear us gushing over Imperial Yeast all the time, and that's because their yeast performs for us in every batch that we brew. Imperial Yeast is adored by commercial breweries and home brewers alike. Their pitch-right pouches are jam-packed with over 200 billion fresh yeast cells, guaranteed to deliver flawless, fast fermentations every time. Imperial Yeast strains are grown by a team of pro brewers and home brewers who live to help other brewers learn more and ferment better. Join any recipe receiving tier of our Trub Club and get a free upgrade to premium Imperial Yeast with every recipe kit that ships out to you. Learn more at homebrewhappyhour.com/club and come brew with us.
Entertaining shows with content that spreads information and sparks discourse throughout the community. This is the Pearl Media Network.
Well, hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. This is the show where we supply the answers to your homebrewing questions and discuss all things related to craft beer. And if you, my friend, have a question you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, you could go to homebrewhappyhour.com. You could email Joshua at homebrewhappyhour.com, but even better, call it in to 325-305-6107. And when I use your voicemail feedback, preferably a question, on a future episode, you will get yourself a $25 gift card to kegconnection.com. I'm one of your hosts, Joshua Stubing. We're going to try this again. I'm joined by my buddy, Jonathan Marut. He is the 2024 Altbier World Champion, and we're having to do this a second try because my equipment's messing up. You know, some might say I'm killing time to have to avoid doing more orders and stuff because we've been swamped, and I've been having.
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah, you would think, but I don't like it. It is. But that's not to say, friends, you should still go to kegconnection.com and spend, buy. We did decent, but we could do more decenter. So go there. I know it's going to feel awkward because we already did all the small talk part, and then I was like, hey, it's not really recording you, so I had to do a workaround. But
that's a problem.
But yeah, if you don't mind, indulge me as I get through the world record shortest amount of time for small talk. Friends, this is already the month of December. Patreon.com/homebrew happy hour Trub Club members are going to get the delicious English Mild, which is a table beer, shipped out to you the last week of this month. Also, Brew Day Live will be Friday, December 27th at 10 a.m. Central, live right here at youtube.com/homebrew happy hour. And I say right here, 1.2% of people actually go to our YouTube. So I should be saying, you're listening to this, come hang out with my pop and I at youtube.com/homebrew happy hour on Friday, December the 27th. It will be a good time. I can assure you that, or it won't be. I mean, there's two options really, but we are brewing that delicious English Mild. Last month, Jonathan, or for November, was the only one of the year we didn't do the Trub Club recipe. It was because we did our breakfast stout. So every member's getting the milk stout, which did ship out, my friends, this week. But we did the breakfast stout. Otherwise, all 12 months, we brew the exact same thing as the Trub Club. It makes me feel accomplished, and also makes me think maybe I should be entering competitions like you. Maybe I should be taking these styles and doing that, because we're just flooding with beer. Also, I feel weird bringing up other things, but because this is technically the first, like nobody else has seen the stuff we already recorded. And so I don't want to rehash something, but I want to apologize. Let me cover some highlights from the first one that I can't use because it wasn't picking up his audio. We're both wearing flannel. You look sharp, my friend. We both look good. Yeah. I am bald for those watching, and there is a glare in Todd's office. And also, Todd's office looks like a prison cell. Look. Yeah. So we went over that. I got that through. Record amount of time. This was actually half of the amount of the small talk for the first time. So I'm just...
Yeah, small talk is decreasing. Todd is so sad he's not here for the minimal small talk.
Dude, when he comes back, I'm going to make it 30 minutes. We're going to do Homebrew Happy Half Hour. Like episodes 1 through 50, none of them ever broke 30 minutes. And people would reply to me.
Wow.
They'd be like, it's not even an hour. How do you call it the Homebrew Happy Hour? And I'd be like, listen, I call it whatever I want, much like the 2024 Altbier World Championships. Only a couple of Germans. Horst wasn't one of them, believe it or not, but only a couple of Germans told me, how can you say it's the world when it's... I was like, listen, our NBA does that. Our baseball does that. Americans do that. We take stuff and we say I bet you the NCAA college championship will call themselves the world champion. Why not?
Yeah.
It's what we do as Americans. We've won back-to-back world wars.
Yeah, that's true. I'm sure you would welcome any entries from Germany that would like to enter the competition.
Of course I would. It's going to cost them so much money to ship it. And then it's going to cost me so much money to ship the shirt and potential trophy, which is behind you right there as the champion.
True, yeah.
You took it down. You did a clean sweep in 2024 of Homebrew Happy Hour competitions.
Yeah. That was, unexpected.
No, was it though? Was it really for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, I haven't taken this Altbier out to other competitions to see how it does or anything. So the Kolsch has been. I did do that at Bluebonnet last year, and it didn't do very well, but whatever.
Whatever.
This year I rebrewed it and changed a few things, and you guys liked it, so that was great.
Loved it. Did you watch it by chance? Or I mean, I texted you after the fact and told you, but did you watch our video?
Yeah, the Alt. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Did you like James and Todd's face when I hinted to them who had won? Like whenever I was doing,
it was. They were like,
they were.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
It was hilarious.
They're like, no,
no way. This is
Yeah.
Do you remember who judged your beer for round one? Was it me and Wes, or was it Todd and James?
No, it was Todd and James. It was really funny because I don't have the score sheets with me, but Todd's score sheet in the aroma, it was like the aroma and the flavor don't match or something. It was like, it was really weird. But then James was like, this is perfect. This is spot on. So it was pretty funny just seeing the difference between the two score sheets.
I think I told you after the fact, the only thing that I did, and it's not rigging the competition, but I did put myself with Wes because I felt like I can't persuade Wes like the other two might be able to. And I know the other two can't persuade each other. So I felt like that was the best groupings for the four of us in order to get the best beers into that top five. Because like I said, Wes and I share notes in regards to what are you getting from this and this and that. Oh yeah, that's right. Whatever. But like Todd can strong arm me. Todd can strong arm Wes. James can strong arm me. James can, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean like they are very assured of what they're you know what I mean? And when we're vocalizing it, I'm an impressionable kid. Listen, guys, I only smoked cigarettes because of Joe Camel. Like I'm an impressionable kid. So if Todd's like, no, this is not great, I'd probably be like, yeah, he's right. Not that great. So it worked out though, because I believe of the top five, Todd and James sent 3 to it. And just going off of the scores, like we didn't have any ties. 3 in the top 5 were from their group, and 2 were from Wes and I. And when we did, you watched it. I guess I'm just rehashing things. People could go watch at our YouTube channel. But I was more impressed by how on the same wavelength, what's the saying, that we all were for the top three. I was the only anomaly in regards to what I thought would be top three, but I wasn't arguing with the order they did, because it was so, for me this year, between yours and second, I could have been happy either way. No offense. I'm just saying though, like it was such a good example of it. And we'll get into the recipe bill and all of that, because that's what people, if they're watching or listening, that's all they really care about is how is this guy continuing to win and all that. But before we get to that, let's talk about all those ribbons and trophies and stuff behind you. 2024, correct me if I'm wrong, was a pretty big scene or year for you in the competitive scene. You upped kind of your entries. You were more involved in competition. I know you've been brewing competitively for a while, but this year you brought home some more hardware. You refined some recipes. How would you recap 2024 as a competitive brewer and the various competitions that you did? How do you feel like you performed?
Yeah, I started doing a lot more competitions around the country. My buddy Jonathan Rollins, he showed me, he had a map of the U.S. with like the states colored in, the different colors of where he had won trophies at different competitions. So I was like, well, clearly I need to do that. So I started doing that, and just started sending out beers to different competitions around the country, and just starting to win medals all around.
So nonchalant.
It's pretty cool.
Just entering and winning. I guess, the other ones, obviously ours were the most premier and renowned. We know that. Oh, but
they're definitely the biggest. They're definitely the biggest awards. I mean,
I've never heard that in my life. But anyway, but the other ones are BJCP judges, right? All the other ones you entered.
Yes. Now, they definitely are.
So with that in mind, in theory, I mean, we do this too, but in theory, a BJCP judge is not subjective. They are bound to that book, the guidelines for the style. So if you're entering a BJCP certified one, it behooves you to just nail what the book says the style should be, right?
It does. And it can be difficult depending on, I mean, there are some styles, experimental beers. Well, that can be anything, right? Wild sours, things like that. Those can be very all over the place. If you're doing a style like a Kolsch or an Alt, it's very, very defined. So it can be different depending on what exactly beer you're playing around with.
Gotcha. And do you feel like, when's the first year you entered competitions? Was it post-COVID?
Yeah, I think so. I did the Blue Bonnet, and I won the first place for my hazy IPA, and that was really, I think I was one of the first competitions that I entered outside of just, our homebrew club has like a monthly deal,
right?
You can get feedback, but I think that was really the first. I mean, that's the biggest single site homebrew competition in the country, and so when my hazy won there, I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. So.
When you brewed
I did not repeat that the next year, but whatever.
Well, but when you brewed that hazy, was it to the book? Like, I mean, I guess what I'm getting at is,
see, hazy IPA, that is a very difficult. It's a new style for one. And the latest definitions of BJCP was the first time that they had the hazy IPA nailed down. Before that, it was like I don't know what they call it, experimental style. So it's very much not nailed down what that beer is. You'll get some breweries will have hazy IPAs that are still bitter, and then you have other breweries where the hazy IPA isn't bitter at all. And then if you look at the winning, so when they do the American Homebrew Association does the NHC, the winners, they publish the recipes every year. And if you look at the recipes for hazy IPAs for the past 3 or 4 years, they are all over the place in terms of the amount of bitterness that's in those beers. Some of them have huge hop charges during the boil, and others have none. So those beers are very different. So, hazy IPA for me, I'm going to be doing a presentation at Blue Bonnet this coming year where I'm going to talk about this is not a style that has existed for 500 years like Kolsch or Alt.
Yeah, or Alt.
This is a new style. It's been around for 20 years, and it's still very much in flux what this beer means. And I think really there's two different beers that we're talking about here. I think there's hazy IPA, which is a IPA that's hazy, and then there's New England IPA, which is a very low bitterness, very soft mouthfeel beer. And I think there are really two different things that are kind of smashed into one category. And depending on what the judge thinks, they might, this is too bitter. Well, okay, Heady Topper supposedly has an IBU of 100. So
no kidding.
Yeah,
that sounds terrible.
No, it's so good.
Okay,
it's so good.
I'll take your word for it, man. Whatever. I believe you.
That is the next competition you guys are going to fire up. Summertime competition is going to be IPAs, right? That's what I heard.
No, well, here's what I thought for a compromise, maybe a pale ale competition, or you know what? But here's the thing: if we did either of those, you're going to want to enter. You're not going to come judge. So I'm going to be one of the judges.
Oh, well, I can do either. I can do
both. I
can come judge. I'd love to judge that.
Here's I don't want to jump ahead of stuff, but I'll say it now since we're at this part. Here's my dream. I don't mind judging. I love drinking all the entries and all that. My dream, like for the alt next year, I would love Horst to come in, him and Wes and Todd and James, and I would produce the show and, be able to get the beers out for them and all that. That's my ideal. There's so much more I feel like I could do in the production side of it, especially if I can get it live. Starlink hopefully will keep improving month after month to where next year the connection is stable enough that we can do it live, because there's just so much more potential with, like, I love interacting with people, but I love like the thought of a competition like this where it's transparent and people, I wouldn't be stuck to just the judging and looking at comments and then addressing it. I could, you know what I mean? Like a color commentator on a UFC fight.
Oh yeah. Color commentator. Yeah. I
think it would be fun. And not really true color commentary. And there goes Todd, the double chin chug. Like I'm not gonna like,
well, you could be off to the side saying, okay, this is Jonathan Marut's entry, because those guys wouldn't know what it was, but you could know. Exactly. You could be like, here we have,
and in a very golf commentator sort of way.
Yes.
Yeah, approaching the green. This is Jonathan Marut's entry. Last year champion, this year struggling as James is wincing.
Yeah, not so great. Yeah.
Not so great. Yeah, back to the minor leagues for Jonathan Marut. No, but I think it would be fun. It would be more entertaining if we can do it live, to have me out of the judging table. And you had already committed to at least doing one of the competitions. You said you'd be available. So maybe, if I could use you for the Kolsch for sure. And then that'd be the experiment of if we could do it live and if I can commentate. But anyway, back to, I would digress all day. Todd and James aren't here to rein me in. The trophies are obviously from us. That's why they're prominently displayed. I was hoping did you just take them off the mantle for the show? Because I'm hoping
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My daughter has them up on the mantle, much to my wife's chagrin. She's not thrilled at all. The alt showed up the other day and I pulled it out. My daughter, she's so excited. And my wife's like, where are we going to put that? And, because we got a big TV over the mantle. And so they barely fit up there because, they're pretty large.
Dude, I love that. And honestly too, here's what's funny. I don't know your wife. I hope she doesn't hate me, because here's the idea I have. I love trolling. I would think it'd be hilarious to just periodically, like every other month, make up a trophy for you. I'm just going to keep sending trophies to your house for made up competitions. Your wife's going to be
there was a competition I was entering competition yesterday morning, and it opened at 8:00 in the morning. And there's a lot of demand for these competitions now. So if you don't get in right when they open, you may not get in. So I told my daughter, I said, okay, we have to leave for school. I got to get you dropped off so that I can enter this competition. She's like, you getting another trophy, Daddy? I said, I hope so. So she was she was ready to go. She's like, I'm ready to go, Daddy. Let's go. We get to school so you can enter in. Yeah.
Dude,
she was very into it.
Your daughter is the team player we all need in our life. Like, she's your number one supporter just for the hardware.
She is.
Yeah.
She is very much a supporter. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
My wife is like, she sent me a meme yesterday. She sent me a hilarious meme yesterday. I have to tell you this. I don't know if you've seen this. Maybe I'll send it to you and put it in the show notes. So she saw this on, so it's this guy. He says, should I really be drinking this? What if I like it and get addicted to craft beer and I spend the rest of my life telling my friends about the different kinds of hops?
I don't know what she means by that. Why is that?
Got this hilarious,
I've seen
hilarious picture.
I'll
send it to
Text
you.
it to me. We already determined I have to do post-production editing because I'm recording on one thing and I know I have to work this week, dude. All these orders and doing this and recipe kits and now editing. It's like I have a job. Ugh. So lame. The ribbons up top, I know those aren't all 2024, but let's go over how you placed this year, and then we'll get into the Alt Cup stuff. Because people can go to whatever podcast directory you're listening, guys, or you can go to youtube.com/homebrew happy hour. Jonathan's been on the show a bunch, but his Kolsch Cup one, if you were more interested in how he took that one down, we went all over that on an episode. We did that one, in June, I think? We probably did it. I think
so. I think that's right.
It was May or June. The competition was in May, I think. So it had to be June. Anyway, so let's go. You entered how many this year and you placed in how many and what did you learn?
I'm just looking at, it looks like I did about 20 this year. Yeah. And I kind of did groups. So I had like 5 that I did like February, March, and they were all the same batch of beer. So it's kind of interesting because, sometimes it's the same batch of beer and you'll enter it into competitions, and some places it'll do well and other places it doesn't do well. And, is it shipping? Is it how?
Well, I was going to say, let's talk about that because is it that people by nature are subjective, even BJCP judges who don't want to admit that? Or do you think it is factors like, it was a hot shipping truck or whatever?
So these were all, so the first batch was all January, February, March. So it was early in the year. I didn't do very many over the summer just because it's too hot to ship. But, so these are earlier in the year, not so much a problem with the heat, but, so that first batch, okay, that one won like 1. The next batch was, that was like March, April, and I did 5 competitions. So that one did second place, American Pale, third place, Hazy IPA, second place, Hazy IPA. So that one did better, 5 competitions, 3 placings. So, and then kind of took the summer off and then back to it in the fall and got first place, Hazy IPA.
And remind the good people at home, my friend, what you're brewing on and what size batches, because if you're only doing a 5-gallon batch, it's like, oh my God, all your beers go into competition. Like, are you?
Yeah. Sometimes, I have 2 different systems. So I have a grandfather that'll do 5-gallon batches, and that's what I did the alt on this time. And then I've got the Spike 20, which I can do either 10 or 15-gallon batches on. And so it just depends what I'm doing. But
that is the solo, or right? That's what's behind you.
Yeah, solo. Okay. Yeah, it's a solo, but I have
solo.
adulterated the system quite a bit.
Oh,
so I'm running as the 2-vessel system now with an external Herms coil, so that I can not directly heat the wort while the mash is going on. Because with the hazy IPAs, with all that extra, there's a lot of protein in there, and you can scorch the element pretty easily.
Yeah, so it is an exposed element, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I think you talked about that when you guys used the spike system, that you had problems with scorching. So
my dad, it was a prototype. I'm still convinced if we'd use a bag, it'd be fine. Because the prototype basket, I believe those holes are just too big. But my pop is like, he says stuff. I don't listen. Sorry, Dad. I know you're watching. But it's true. Ask my wife when she talks. I hear, but I don't listen. But I told him he should just put it up on OfferUp or something, like get something for it, or let's turn it into something. But the exposed element just, like, I don't know. I guess I've gotten spoiled now with the G40 in regards to not having to worry about scorching the element. And now obviously you can still scorch the worts. You can like things can still go wrong in any all-in-one, but I do like that it's not an exposed element. That's really made me at ease in regards to not one thing I don't have to necessarily worry about ruining. And the grain, you're on the G30, right? Or what the original before it had G's
G30. Yeah. It was before. It is the Connect system, but it's basically G30.
Yeah.
And so I'll do smaller batches on there, or just experimental things.
Yeah.
I did the alt just by itself, and
Did you do a smaller batch on that because you weren't confident in that you were going to like the style? Because I don't think we've ever talked about even as a competitive brewer, is the priority in your mind on a brew day kegging and enjoying on tap, or is it packaging in bottles and shipping because 5 gallons, you only sent us 24 ounces. So it's not like it's a drop in the bucket, but now knowing, I'm telling you, I'm mad you didn't do a 10 or 15 gallon batch of that all. Like that's ridiculous.
Well, all my buddies are mad too, because when it won, I was like, well, you idiots, because I mean, I have a bunch of buddies that I brew with, and they come over and help and that sort of thing, and then they take kegs home and that sort of deal. And it was it was getting towards the fall, and I'm like, okay, I want to do Altbier and I want to do Marzen, and who's interested in what? And everybody's like Marzen. So I'm like, well, okay, I guess we'll make big batch of Marzen, and I'll just do a small batch of Alt. And so that's what we ended up doing. We just did the small batch of Alt and did a big batch of Marzen. And
when did you brew the Marzen?
It was basically the same time.
Okay.
It was late August.
Okay, but you cracked it. You did it under pressure, I'm assuming, and you cracked into it in September for Oktoberfest, because that's a pretty quick turnaround for a Marzen. It's quick. Yeah. It's quick. Well, the only reason I wouldn't bring that up to throw you under the bus, my friend. I just mean I thought we could then transition the conversation into, because did you do the alt beer under pressure?
No.
No,
I didn't.
I assumed you did.
No, I didn't. I mean, not like under high temperature and all that stuff.
Yeah, right.
Towards the end, towards the end, close the valve, close the fermenter down and let it naturally carbonate, that sort of thing. But no, I'm looking at the dates here. So I brewed it on August 26th, and it was kegged on September 9th.
Dang. So, okay. And then cold conditioned up until I guess early.
Yeah, till right till I sent it to you. So I don't remember what the date was on that. Do you remember? I think it was in the keg for 5 weeks.
Okay. Yeah, I was saying, well,
because I think it was mid October, right?
It was like October 22nd was the competition.
Yeah. So, that's when you judge it. But I think the deadline wasn't it like?
Oh, it was a week before. It was a week before that.
Yeah.
So the 15th.
So it was in the keg for 5, because since I'm so close to, I know it gets there in a day when I send it on UPS. So yeah, I knew what the deadline was, and I packaged it 2 days before that and sent it. So it had been in the keg for 5 weeks at that point.
That's like that. Yeah. James's sweet spot is always sit sweets. I'm happy with 4, honestly, on most, but but again, the more the merrier. Like, cause my pop and I had a keg of Kolsch that we did last February, or was it 2 years ago? Either way, we did a Kolsch in like January, pardon me. And then, one of the kegs we didn't open up until his 4th of July party this year. And it was perfection.
Oh, I bet.
It was absolute. And I was like, we have to do this every year now. Every year we have to do this 10-gallon batch where we can enjoy one that's greener in regards to, and I say greener, you know what I mean? But we really, I want to lager that other one. Hell, I'm okay within 2025. Spoiler for everyone for patreon.com/homebrew happy hour. January this year or next year is going to be a Kolsch. That's what's going out. And so we're going to be brewing a Kolsch in January. I'd be okay with lagering, cold conditioning, whatever, one of those kegs until Christmas. Like that, can you imagine?
Yeah.
Just how crystal clear, crisp. it's going to be perfection. I think that's the way to go. But anyways, so 5 weeks in the keg. Let's rewind on the brew day. You did it in the G or the equivalent of a G30, a 5-gallon batch. Yeah. So it's in an all-in-one he's doing. Did you use a bag? Did you double? How'd you do let's start from the whole beginning. How were your grains milled? Let's do the bill of it, and then how the brew day went. If you did a water profile, all of that.
Oh yeah, definite water profile, RO water. And then I do the Dusseldorf Alt, water profile on it. So, and I'm using, Brewfather for my software. So there's 8 different things that go into it. Mostly Epsom salt, gypsum. Those are the 2 big. Gypsum is the biggest by far addition, and then Epsom salt, calcium chloride, canning salt, magnesium chloride. Yeah, so those are the big ones, and the others are just minimal. But yeah, it's to do the Dusseldorf water profile. And then I did 11 pounds of grain. 40% Munich, 40% Pilsner, 11% Carapils, 6% Cara Munich 2, and 1% Carafa 1. That makes up 11 pounds, and then 11 ounces of rice hulls. So however many pounds you have is however many ounces of rice hulls you need.
Now, is that sounds awfully familiar to one of Horst's, Horst is, well, I can't say the plural or the possessive form of Horst. Horst. It sounds like his recipe. Did you?
Yes, absolutely is. Yeah.
You got the book.
Yeah.
You got the book.
Yeah, I got the book. Yeah, actually, I got the book. Like, I don't remember if this exact recipe I used last time, but yeah, I was like, I should get the book. But the thing about it was, he's been on the show, and he's like, well, the book is kind of obsolete. And I was like, well, I'm going to read the book anyway. So I read the book.
Isn't that funny how he says that? Yeah. Even though it's not, it's not at all. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But I didn't do any decoction mashing or anything like that. But it was just pretty straightforward. I mashed at 152 Fahrenheit, and then I mashed at 167.
For 10?
I fermented at, for 10. Yeah. And it was a 60-minute mash. Yeah. And, fermented at 62 and then ramped it up towards the end up to 67.
If you tell me you use Sterling hops, I'm ending the podcast. What hops did you use?
Absolutely Sterling hops. No, I used Spalter. I used Spalter and Hallertauer Mittelfrüh.
Yeah. And do you do it? I mean, I'm assuming you did a 60, 15 and a 5.
60, a 30 and a 0.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was 25 IBUs at 60, and then, which is like 2.2. The Spalt was very low alpha acid. Yeah. You've probably seen that lately. A bunch of the German hops these days are very low alpha acid.
Very low, like 3, 4. Yeah.
Yeah. 2. I've seen under 2 sometimes.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't yet. Our Mittelfrüh, I think, is like 3.3. Which is low. That's very low, which is great. It's very great.
Yeah. So I did the 60, and then I was short. I didn't have enough. That was the problem, was the Spalt was so low alpha acid that I didn't have enough. So that's why I had to add the Mittelfrüh, because I thought that the IBUs would be too low. So that's why I ended up adding, it was only 1 ounce of the Hallertauer that I split between the 30 and the 0-minute editions.
No kidding.
But I thought it would, I just thought because of the low alpha acid of the Spalter,
but now
that I needed a little more.
Now that it's award winning, will you do it like that always, or is there always tweaking to be done?
Yeah. Well, there's always tweaking to be done, right? I mean, yeah.
Well, let's.
I mean, I wouldn't mess with it.
Let's. I want to go there. Let's say you're not maybe the alt pokal, or is some lesser non-world championship thing you've entered, and you take gold. Are you, something that, like, if you enter it the next year, do you think it's as straightforward as I'm going to submit the same thing every time because it's a proven winner? Or do you think that I have to tweak it a little because it got to be, you know what I'm saying?
I have to tweak it because, I mean, if I if I entered a beer in like 5 competitions and it won first place in every competition, okay, then I would, then I wouldn't mess with it. But that's not what happens. I can win first place in one competition, and the next competition they're like, that's not very good, and I'm like, well, okay. So yeah, as long as I'm not just sweeping the competitions, I'm going to keep messing with them. I'm going to try different, especially because I'm doing New England IPAs, right? So it's all about the hops, right? So hey, stop that. So sometimes I'll do the South Pacific. I'll call it the South Pacific version. So it's all hops from Australia, New Zealand, and I'll do so I'll do one of those, and it's very different, but it's the same base, it's the same idea, but all the hops are South Pacific. So I'm always messing with that stuff.
More power to you, man. You're doing the styles nobody likes, but actually everybody likes.
What?
I know. No, I might, since I'm already doing post-production, I might edit that out. I don't need hate mail. Actually, those are our counterparts in England. You talk to them about beer and like, hey, we're doing an English mild or this. Who cares, mate? They care about IPAs. That's all they want. That's all they want. The people crave the IPAs. I gotta get over it. Maybe my pop and I packaged. We kegged the celebration, and it's good for. I mean, it's a good replica, but it's still. I'm like, I can't do it, man. Not a full pint.
Oh man, that's a good beer.
I know, and I told you because you're actually coming in these neck of the woods soon. And I told you, man, unfortunately, I would have loved to have done this in person. I don't have the time. I have to work. It's terrible. I could have poured you some. It'll be on tap at Todd's for a while. We'll get you to the ranch in the next couple of months. We'll find an excuse for you to go there, do some more video content or something. We did already do people who are watching us at youtube.com/homebrew happy hour. Jonathan has a great video on using, it's about pressure. We did a pressure fermentation and stuff a year or two ago, but then this year you came and it was about using the pressure from the fermentation to using the keg actually, I forget the whole order of it because we kind of covered a lot. You did a batch and showing how you used that CO2 buildup to transfer, into the keg. Mm-hmm. And and I say we didn't use a batch. We used sanitizer because we didn't have anything in the fermenter, but.
Right.
Very helpful.
Yeah, it was just colored water, but transfer from the fermenter into the keg, and then out of the keg back to the fermenter. So you're moving the liquid and then the gas going back. Yeah.
For the resourceful brewer, we need to. We'll figure out some other stuff that I always get your information on pressure fermentation, and then I pawn it off as my own. Like I will ask you a question.
You guys are the foremost experts in pressure fermentation.
Thank you. And I don't know if you saw me on Trent Moo Show. He's the Brew Show here on YouTube. He had me discuss the style of alt beer, and I offered to connect him with Horst. I offered to connect him with James, and then he was like, "No, man, it's you." And so I played it up. I'm like, I am America's foremost expert on this style. Because it was a 2-second cameo in his video, so I didn't have to defend the position. Well, tell us more. Yeah, yummy in my tummy. I don't have nothing. But the style is great, and we are going to continue to do the competition so people can send me it. You've called me out a bunch on how I have managed to get my 2 favorite styles as competitions and have people from all over the country.
Send me your beer from and I will judge it. I will tell you how good it is. Yes.
See, who's the dummy now, Mom? Huh? Who's the dummy? Oh, you dropped out of college, but people send me beer, Mom. But back to, again, I'm digressing too much. I am so interested though, because you're brewing on all-in-ones regardless, but they are so different, and the way you modified your spike. If you had to pick one to make consistently the same over and over, can you, or do you feel confident that any person can just do consistent regardless of the equipment they're brewing on?
I think once you brewed something 3 times on an all-in-one, you can get it pretty nailed down, because the first time you're just kind of guessing, and then the second time you're informed by your first one, and then by the third one you should have it nailed down within a couple of points of gravity. Yeah. And I have it's the same challenge when I go, if I scale it up, like I don't think I brewed the alt beer on the bigger system yet. So if I went from a 5 to a 15, there'd be some challenges there. I did a, what did I do? Irish red and Mexican lager that I scaled up onto the big system, and they came out as imperial versions. So yeah, that can be a challenge. When you have what you think it's going to turn out, and then all of a sudden you take the grab and you're like, this is 10 points high. That's that can be, yeah. So you thought it was going to be 5.5%, and now it's 7.
Do you feel confident that you could take your 5-gallon alt recipe to a cooler and produce the same result? Or is it still like, no, you probably need 3 brews on whatever you're brewing on to dial in that system?
Well, so I've done it on the little one now. And if I did it on the big system, it wouldn't be exactly right the second time. But I think by the next time it would be real close. Yeah.
It is obviously the yeast would be a big. Oh, we didn't even go over that. What yeast did you pitch?
We talk about yeast, yeah. I used K97.
No kidding.
Yeast. Yeah,
that's a cold strain.
Well,
is it not?
I mean, they call it German ale. They call it German ale,
okay.
And yeah,
I'm so presumptuous.
I don't know that. Yeah, I don't know that. I mean, yeah, because everybody, there's a lot of talk to and cold went away. What are you going to use now? And some people say K97, but I don't know that it's really a Kolsch strain as much as it's just like a German ale. So,
okay, I don't know. Again, I'm presumptuous. I thought German the K ale stood for Kolsch. Like I thought it was. It's blue package, right? Isn't that Fermentus's blue package, the K97? No, I'm thinking of the lager one, dude. Red, I'm stupid. Maybe. It is. Yeah. No. Or like no, the blue one's the lager. That's the 3470, 3410. I forget the
3470. Yeah.
3470. That's the blue one. I'm thinking. I've actually never used the only of dry of theirs I've used is the lager and the 05. Obviously, I have Brits of 05 in my freezer, like for a rainy day. Do you?
I like the K97 though. I have a American Amber Ale that I brew a lot, and I recently did a 5-gallon batch of that with the K97. So now it's a German ale, and it's very nice.
Very nice. Do you feel like dry yeast is more predictable for your batches, regardless of the temperature the time of the year you're brewing or the style you're brewing? Dry seems to be more reliable for you.
I really like it. I use mostly dry. The local homebrew shop that I do use, they used to carry Imperial, but they stopped. So like today I brewed a wee heavy, and last year I used an Imperial for that tartan last year, and I would have used it again this year because I really like how that came out. But since they don't carry it anymore, I was like, well, I'm going to try something else. So, because, it was a 10-gallon batch. So I would have used 2 packets, and I didn't, it's like $25 plus shipping to order it from somewhere. And I was like,
what is your local shop
now? 2
now?
packs of dry.
Texas Brewing's out. Where are you getting it? I got to call them and say, listen here, pal, carry Imperial. What are you doing?
I know. I agree. No, it's Brewhound here in Fort Worth.
Oh, Brewhound. Yeah. Hey, they're good people. I like Brewhound. Yeah. They're real good people.
Oh, yeah. Chris is good. Yeah. I think he was carrying so many different lines of yeast that I think he just decided to
liquid yeast.
Streamline things.
And also, too, I was just about to joke. I gotta edit all that stuff about dry yeast out and super dub over you. Like, I only use Imperial. We only use Imperial, but I'm spoiled because I can text them or email them and I get it in a couple days. So like, my local homebrew supply shop is Todd Burns's wallet.
That's a great deal. If you can get that deal, you should definitely
live in the dream. But I do frequently wonder, and I don't think we've ever directly asked Owen, maybe on a Q&A, but I always wonder how different or more reach they might have if they ever also produce dry. And I don't know the logistics behind that, it's
interesting. There's a few of the yeasteries that have started to offer a little bit here and there.
Like Omega.
like Omega.
Yeah.
Omega has the dry Lutra, and then White Labs, they have a dry now. But it's just kind of here and there. And I don't know. I love dry. I mean, I have, I don't know, 50 packets of it in my fridge, and it's you don't have to worry about it.
And again, Owen, I promise I'll drop this topic here soon, but I will give
we're going to edit all this out.
All this is out. You're not even hurt. You can't even hear. You have to. I'll just. Oh no, the audio got corrupted. Can't publish it. Done that before. But I dry. The most glaring perk of dry is that it stores forever. It is like the liquid. I've not had any issues with Imperial ever, except for that time when they had cans and it blew up in my face. But we don't talk about that. We settled.
Right.
The settlement was lifetime yeast. But besides that one, and I shook it and I let it warm up, and then I was like, oh, what's but no, I've had yeast, and I use the older the badges that are up there. Those are the ones I grab, and I grab some that are 5, 6, 7 months out of manufacturing date, and they still perform like a champ. So it's not a slight at liquid, but the obvious perk between the two is liquid doesn't store for that long. Like dry can, I can't freeze my Imperial and 2 years later pitch it. I just can't do that. Yeah. But that 05. Yeah, man, it's been around for a while for a reason. We kind of talked about it during the Kolsch one. You were a fan of Lala Man's their Kolsch strain, and then I don't even think it lasted a year. How long did that? Like, obviously, the yeast game is tough. I guess what we're getting to.
Yeah, it's funny. I was watching a YouTube video the other day. There was a new yeast they came out with called Pomona, which is an IPA yeast, and I think it was Oyster Boys. I think was the YouTube I was watching, and they were comparing Pomona with Verdant IPA, and those are two IPA yeasts. They tried the two, and they're like, these are the same. And they're like, and I'm like, well, I'm glad they discontinued Colne so that they could bring out another IPA yeast that tastes the same as one they already.
The people yearn for IPA. Yeah. We've already gone over that. Boys.
Well, I know, but.
Oyster Boys, that's British, right? Aren't they?
It is. Yeah.
Shout out to them.
Yeah. So I thought it was funny because I was like, they said, well, there's other options out there for Kolsch yeast now. And I'm like, and I need to re-engage with them. Like, what? I mean, maybe this K97 is really supposed to be a Kolsch yeast. I haven't really seen it advertised thusly. Maybe it is, but I think it makes pretty good alt.
It did make and one of our competitors who I judged, I made the comment that the beer had a little bit more esters in it than I think it should have. It might have been a Kolsch yeast that they used, and they texted me it was absolutely a Kolsch strain.
I wonder what it was.
It could have been the temp. I mean, they could have been on the warmer side of the temperature range and brought out a little bit more of the fruity notes.
But I did mine at 62, which is a little. I think whenever I did Colne, I think I did that. Yeah, when I did Colne, I always did that at like 68. I think so.
Yeah, I've only been doing things under pressure, and we had this cold spell, so the breakfast stout has a spunding valve on it, but my office is to temperature. It's not warmer. I left my office at 63, and it hasn't gotten above that since fermentation started. So that's on the lower.
How much pressure?
10. I didn't put pressure on it. I let it build up. I didn't.
Yeah, you just let it come up.
Yep, I just let it come up. Yeah. And so is it pressure fermented? Yeah, sure, it is. But is it like how we've been doing it? No, of course not. It's not at room temp and all that. Which our beers, though, this year that we've been doing at room temp, under pressure at 10 psi, been some of the best beers we've ever brewed. Todd loves our ESB, and that was done at 74. Between 10 and 12 psi. My eyes are bad. I never, but then it was only in the fridge for him for less than a week before he first poured it. Now I will say too, though, it had to float it on the keg. That helped a ton with clarity. That's that. I'll say that, and then I'll kind of bring the train in and we'll talk about some other stuff. But my winning combination for brewing for 2024 is pressure fermentation, closed transferring, obviously. And then using a float it 2.0 from our friend Trong on the keg for serving. that has made everybody so happy this year of who's been drinking our beer, either at the parties or if I'm serving it on a vent faucet in my garage. That's been the winning combination, because that's allowed me to serve pretty decent pours, presentable. I mean, the taste isn't that much different whether I got some particulates in it or not, but it just looks that much better thanks to that. And the pressure and all that gets it done kind of quick and gets it done without off flavors. And I'm not, I didn't have to buy a glycol setup and all that. Cause correct me if I'm wrong. You don't have temperature control, or do you have a glycol setup?
Oh yeah, I do.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I don't have glycol, but I have a
just fridge,
a big freezer that'll hold the fermenter.
Okay. Yeah, that might be.
I just stuff it in there.
Ooh, must be nice. No, that's what I do with Todd. Every time Todd.
I know, it's just, it's like $100 dead, it's probably 50-year-old freezer.
Oh, no.
It's like it's like as big as a fridge. But it's a freezer. And I can stuff a CF15 in there. And you can cold crash that thing real nice.
Dude, okay, that is a massive freezer. Now that I know that you can stuff a CF15 in there, because those are big.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's like the size of a fridge.
Let's rewind real quick, because I do value your time, and I know that it is already. I value my time too, but what value your time gets you out of here. You're pretty involved in your homebrew club. Would you say that the homebrew club and having these people who are also enthusiasts and to try your batches and all that, is bouncing ideas and recipes off them a key component to your recipe success of these award-winning batches? Or do you not really do, like, because people who are joined, like reaching out to us as either customers or listeners, a lot of them aren't involved in a homebrew club. Would you say it is a net positive to be involved with one in regards to becoming a better brewer and getting the most out of each brew day and the recipes that you are creating?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, it exposes you to all different things. There's people in our club that do meads, that do ciders, that do sour beers. None of those things do I do. And so it lets you see all sorts of different things that you wouldn't normally be exposed to. So I've been collaborating with my buddy Jonathan Rollins. He does all the hazy, or all the sour and wild beers. And so we collaborated on a New England hazy IPA that he adulterated with sour. So it's a new beer that we're gonna bottle and share with people, and we call it, my little brewery here called Stolen Pint, and we call this beer Stolen Haze, because what in every other instance is a very hazy beer is completely clear, because whatever bugs he put in that thing has stripped it out. So you get this sour, but you still get the hop flavor, but it's completely clear. So we call it Stolen Haze.
Hey man, don't send me any. Okay.
Those are your two favorite things, right? Sour and hoppy. Yes.
I went to a concert a couple weeks ago, and we went to St. Elmo's, but they were talking about going to Blue Owl, and I don't know if you're familiar with Blue Owl in Austin. It's a sour brewery, and I was like, let's go to St. Elmo. St. Elmo has a delicious Kolsch, and it was on a Monday, and apparently Monday their Kolsch is only $2 a pour. And I think it was 10-ounce pours. It might have been 12-ounce pours. They were big stanges. But so I was the good guy, because I was like, oh, we're all drinking Kolsch. I'll buy this round. $2 a pour is only 3 people. I look like a good guy. But no, sour. Yeah, the last time we were in Portland, a friend of the show took us to, I forget if it was called Great Notion, I think is what it's called up there, which is known for sours. And I was a gentleman. If I'm not paying for the beer, I'll try it. But I couldn't hide it on my face. They're like, they're famous for this blueberry one. So I'd be like, oh, wow, that's, I'm so glad that they're famous for this. They can read it. I don't have a good poker face, which is probably better I don't. But wrapping this up, though, my friend, what is 2025 looking like for you? Except for me sucking you in to judge one of our competitions, if not both. Is 2025 like increasing the amount you brew, increasing the amount you enter into competitions, diversifying styles. If you could make a prediction for what your 2025 would look like, what would it look like?
Well, two things. Right before the end of this year, I want to try to meet up with some of your listeners in Australia. And as some people may know, I travel for work a lot. I fly airplanes. So I'm going to be in Sydney at the end of this month. And I would love to try to meet up with some of the Homebrew Happy Hour listeners in Sydney. And I have to look at my calendar, the last Sunday of the month.
We did talk about it 29th? Before the 29th. You and I talked about it before. And remember, I looked at the analytics, and it turns out the like 1,200 and some odd people, it's all bots. It wasn't real. So the two real people.
Really?
No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm not.
Oh. Never mind. Edit this out.
I'm kidding. No, I wanted to mess with you. No, I would. Yes, we did talk about you pitching that. I'll put it in the show notes, guys. I don't. This is releasing this week, and so what is today, the 3rd? Oh yeah, they got plenty of time to hear it. Not everyone listens in the first 24 hours, but if you're not going until the 29th, what's the best way? Do you want me to leave an email?
I mean, we can connect on YouTube in the comments, or if they email you directly and you can pass it on to me.
Okay.
We can meet on either the 29th or the 30th, somewhere around Sydney. I stay downtown. So the usual tap room that I go to is not open that day.
No,
it's between holidays. Yeah, I know. I'm really sad. Yeah, they specialize in hoppy and sour beers, so you would love it. But,
the Dallas people do?
A lot of places I think are. Yeah.
The Dallas people went to. So you know what? I'm glad they left this country. Good. No, I'm kidding. We love Australia, but I didn't realize you told me. I don't remember you saying their styles. I just remember you saying, they're far more. They're Dallas expats now living in Sydney.
Yeah. Yeah. So they have two breweries under one roof, and one of them is like wild and sours, and the other is like hazy and delicious.
Hope they're doing well. That's all. All kidding aside, I mean, I really do. I hope that Australia is. I think their toilets flush the wrong way, so of course they love hazies and sours. That's just how it goes. Everything's backwards there. If I go down there, I'd have hair. I mean, that's just this bizarro world down there.
There you go. Yeah.
But we will.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the end of 24 for me, and then 25. I'm hoping to do the Circuit of Americas and Circuit of Texas. Those are just homebrew competitions. All around the country and all around Texas. Master Homebrewer program is the one that they sponsor, the Circuit of America, and it's basically a competition in every state ish. And so I want to do my NEPA. I'm going to do NEPA +1 this year. So I'm going to do my NEPA plus one other beer. It'll be a different beer each time, but I'm going to do Altbier, Hefeweizen, and Kolsch, things like that, plus my NEPA, and I'll send those out and see how they do.
And you'll come to the ranch and help us judge the 2025 Kolsch Cup.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that.
Because we can't have you winning again. We just can't do that.
No,
it's somewhere.
But I hear there's going to be a new trophy. We're not going to have this enormous thing. We're going to have something else, right?
Did we already tell you about that?
Yeah, you mentioned that to me. Yeah.
Okay, I don't remember talking about it. You're talking about the Kolsch. So yes, I guess I'll spoil it here right now. We talked with our friends at Grandstand, which is where we get all of our glassware and stuff. Grandstand.com or maybe egrandstand.com. You look it up. By the way, I'll put it in the show notes as I have to edit anyway. We're gonna get. I forget the name of the device that holds all the Kolsch glasses in it, but we're gonna get that. It's going to have Kolsch Cup 2025 written on there, Grand Champion. And I do believe Todd committed the money, or at least told me I could commit his money to actually getting 12. I think it holds 12. Maybe it's 9 actual Kolsch stanges in there. I don't remember how many it holds. Don't quote me on that, guys. We'll get the details. But yes, we are not doing a trophy. It's going to be a usable, living homage to your success. And not you, the proverbial, whoever wins the 2025. Yeah. So maybe you do want to enter, actually. Maybe you don't want to.
I'm going to try to get the guys in the club to enter it this time. So see if we can get a bunch of entries.
You sneaky dog. What you're going to do is your recipe under someone. You're going to do a pseudonym and you're going to, like, Monathan Jarut Entry number, yeah. Oh, look, our winner this year is Monathan. Oh, that would actually be kind of funny. That's I guarantee you we'll have people threatening to package Fru or something just to get me, But again, I'm not going to probably be judging if we can make it all line up. I'll just be producing. So it'll be good.
That'd be great.
But anyways, my friend, I sincerely appreciate your time and always being willing to do the show. And more importantly, I appreciate you always willing to submit your beer. And it just so happens this year was some of your best beer of my favorite styles. Can't comment on your NEPA, maybe another time. But
never mind about that.
Yeah. But I do sincerely appreciate your time and all that. And I look forward to talking to you soon, my friend.
Sounds good.
All right. And that will do it. Oh, maybe it won't do it. There we go. Oh, no. What am I doing? There we go. That will do it for this episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. If you have a question you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, you could go to homebrewhappyhour.com and click on that submit a question link at the top of the page, or even better, be our best friend and leave a voicemail and get a $25 gift card when you call it into 325-305-6107. Deep breath. Thank you to our show sponsors like Munton's Malt, premium grains for a better brew day. If you aren't already brewing with Munton's, give them a try by joining our Trail Club at a recipe receiving level. For the best hops available online, give our friends at hopsdirect.com a visit and pick up what you need for your next brew day. Also, get a pack of Imperial yeast along with delicious recipes from us when you join the Trail Club. Again, go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour and come brew with us. On behalf of the absent Todd Burns, the frolicking James Carlson, and the Pearl Media Network, I'm Joshua Stubing. Thanks for listening.